Let's start in a seated position today. So just coming down to whatever position allows you to have a really straight spine. So the reason that we do that is the energy runs from the tailbone up to the crown of the head. It runs up the spinal column, so to speak. And so we want that to be nice and vertical. I sometimes use the analogy of a garden hose. You don't want it kinked because then it stems the flow of energy. So we want that really straight vertical spine so that the energy can run straight up. So feel where your sit bones are. That's the base of the pelvis. Kind of stack your shoulders on top of that. Stack your ears on top of the shoulders so you have a straight line running from your ears to your shoulders to your hips. And then just take a deep breath in through your nose. And a big exhale through your mouth. Close your eyes if you're comfortable with that. And let's just take a moment, kind of feel into our bodies. Noticing the spots that kind of jump out at us first. Usually those are the spots that are asking for our attention. And then we also acknowledge all of the parts of us that are doing really well. What feels good? What feels strong? What feels open? And then we bring in our intentional breath, Ujjayi breath, powerful breath. And then we just notice what our thought patterns are like. We notice any emotions that we're feeling. We notice what our energy level is like. And then we set our intention for practice. So our own personal intentions are based on what we need, what we want to bring in, what we're going to allow ourselves to receive from the practice. When you're clear about that, just take an extra deep inhale. One more exhale through the mouth. And then just a reminder, it's all nose breathing from here on out. Let's go ahead and stand. Coming to Tadasana, mountain pose at the front of the mat. We allow ourselves to get really rooted and connected. And even in our standing position, we still want that really vertical spine. So we maintain the alignment that we had when we were seated, except now our heels are aligned with our hips, which are still aligned with the shoulders and the ears. Take a moment, let a little bit of energy run through the fingertips. So we're not trying to hyperextend them, but we want them to be somewhat straight. And then we also want the muscles to start to wake up and engage. I like to think of it as the muscles starting to hug in towards the bone. Take one more breath here. And then on your next inhale, reach those arms up and overhead. Fingers are spread. There's still energy running through the fingertips. And if it looks okay, you're going to look up at your hands or look up at the ceiling. Lift the rib cage a little bit more. Maybe even roll it back slightly. And we're going to hold this for a couple more breaths. So this is just Uddiyana, which means upward facing hands. But this is also the posture of joy. According to modern neuroscience, if you hold this long enough, you will feel happy. On your next exhale, bend your knees, drape forward in ragdoll. Relaxing the neck. You can either let your arms dangle, or you can grab your elbows. You can just focus on your exhales, allowing the head to be the weight that pulls and draws length into your spine. Or if you feel like you need to, you can sway a little bit here. Just make sure your neck is relaxed.
Make sure you have those nice deep Ujjayi nose breaths going. And then bring fingertips to the mat on either side of your feet. And we want to keep the hands connected down. You can just kind of test the waters and see what it feels like to begin straightening the legs. They may not be ready to straighten yet. We're still not warm. But keep the hands down as you lengthen your spine. So this is Ardha Uttanasana, which is a half forward bend. So when we look up halfway, we're lengthening the spine. And then exhale all the way back down. As you next inhale, step back with your left leg. Nice big step back. So our basic lunge here. Hopefully your right lower leg is vertical, so your knee is directly stacked over your heel. And the idea is to keep the spine lengthened. Try and straighten the left leg and still allow the hips to surrender down towards the ground. So when we stop trying to hold ourselves up, we can start to get a little bit of opening through the thighs. We'll take one more breath here. And then go ahead and rotate your right hand up towards the ceiling. Just take a couple of breaths here. We want to try and maintain length in the spine. Bring the right hand down, drop the left knee. Let's go ahead and extend the right leg. Flex the ankle and toes. Pull the chest forward. Lengthen your spine. And then bend your right knee. Bring the arms up and overhead. Tuck your tailbone and let those hips move forward. So you're looking for sensation on the front of your left hip. And you're making sure that the spine maintains length, particularly in the lumbar spine, your low back. So you don't want to overarch here. We're not trying to compress in the low back. We're trying to open that left hip. So if we keep tilting our pelvis back, you can think of that as poking your pubic bone forward or tucking your tailbone under or tightening the muscles at your left glute, any of those, then you should be able to maintain length in the low back. Take one more breath and then bring the hands down. And we're going to step back to plank, and I'd like you to hold plank. So plank position is an upper push-up position. Your arms are completely straight. And hopefully, so is your body. The same alignment that you had in Tadasana. If there were a line, it should go through a straight line through your ears, your shoulders, your hips, and your heels. This first time down, we're going to modify a little bit. We're going to be playing with the basics of Vinyasa today. So you're going to drop your knees down. The toes stay down. Your body shifts forward. And your chest and your chin will come to the mat. So your backside is in the air. Your elbows are squeezing your ribs. So your arms are right by your side. Toes are turned under. Knees are down, chest is down, chin is down. Then all you're going to do is untuck your toes. Lift the chest a small amount for a low cobra. Elbows are still hugging the torso. Chest is kind of pulling forward. And then we just turn the toes back under. Press the hips up and back. And that's our first downward facing dog. So it's your first down dog. Wiggle a little bit if you need to. You're welcome to pedal out the feet. What I'd like you to notice is that hopefully you didn't adjust your feet. So in a basic vinyasa, all versions that we'll be doing today, The hands and the feet don't change positions. In other words, we might be on top of the toes or on the bottom side of the toes, but the feet will still be in the same place on the mat. All right, from this down dog, let's step the left foot forward. Just like we did on the right side, you want to double check that your left shin is vertical. You want to try and get the spine straight and long. Maybe straighten that back leg, but let the hips start to drop down. So just going for a little bit of inner thigh separation here, starting to wake things up. And then we'll keep the right hand planted and rotate and take the left hand to the ceiling. Still trying to maintain spinal length. And we'll bring the left hand down, drop the right knee down and extend the left leg. Once the left leg is straight, you want to flex the ankle and toes. And again, try and pull the chest forward so that your spine stays long. Bend the left knee. Bring the arms up and overhead. Tilt the pelvis back and let the hips move forward. So this is where we're trying to access sensation on the front of the right hip. So the pelvis tilts back and the rib cage lifts. As the hips move forward, we want to feel this on the front of the right hip, but we don't want to feel it in the low back. So we maintain spinal length and engagement in that right glute. Good. From here, hands come down. We step forward to our standing forward bend. Remember, your hands are on either side of your feet. And then you're going to inhale and reach the arms all the way up. As you exhale, bring your palms together in front of your heart. So there are these 4 points on your mat that are kind of like home. Where your hands are in a forward bend is where they stay in a plank and a down dog. You'll start noticing that it's just these 4 points are kind of where you always gravitate to, and it's sort of like markers of where you should be. So we're going to just be playing with all of that today, all of the basics. Inhale, reach the arms up, stretch up, maybe lean back. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Hands are on either side of the feet, and then you're going to keep them there. You're going to look up and lengthen. And back down. From here, step back with your right foot. So you have a left foot forward lunge. Hold your lunge for a moment. All of those same alignment cues are coming into play here. Just plant your right hand. So you'll notice nothing really moves, right? Left hand rotates up towards the ceiling again. Left hand comes down, back where it was, outside the left foot. Gaze forward. Don't shift where your hands are. Begin to straighten your left leg. If it doesn't go all the way straight, that's okay. If you're lengthening your spine, you will be feeling it in your hamstring, and that's the idea. Take a couple of breaths. Bend your left knee again. Bring the arms all the way up and overhead. Tuck that tailbone under. Let the hips drop. So just deepening the stretch on the front of your right hip. Now your hands are going to come back down on either side of your left foot, just where you picked them up from. When you step your left leg back, your right foot should already be in the correct place for plank. So when you come into your plank, your hands are where they were on either side of your left foot, and your left foot just joins your right foot, and you're in a perfectly straight line here. So the next thing that we play with for our vinyasa is proper arm position and chaturanga. So even if you're very strong, drop your knees down for me. Toes stay connected. Nothing else changes. Get your body in a straight line. Shift it forward. Elbows squeeze in as you start to lower, but you stop before you hit the ground. Now look over at your forearms. They should be straight up and down. Shoulders are down the back. Untuck your toes now. Lift up. Slight bend in the elbows as you pull forward. This is a high cobra. My knees and thighs are still on the down. They're still on the ground. Slight bend in the elbows. We don't lock out here. And then just play with this idea. From where your feet are, be mindful of your toes. Can you roll over the toes and just press your tailbone up and back for downward facing dog? Really lengthen your spine. The heels are pressing down towards the mat. And it doesn't matter if they ever get to the mat, that's the action. A lot of people like to step forward so their heels will be flat, but then you miss out on all of the spinal lengthening and hamstring opening. From here, we take a big step forward with the right foot. And so the idea is to get the foot between the hands. So we're back. It's just those same 4 points, you guys. So we keep the hands where they are. The right foot is between them. Left leg is where it was. So we're in a perfect lunge. It's neat the way your body is proportioned that this always works. Keep your left hand planted and we'll just take that right hand up towards the ceiling. And then bring the right hand down, put it back where you got it, outside the right foot. Gaze forward and begin to straighten your right leg. Don't change anything. Don't slide your hands. Don't worry about if the right leg isn't all the way straight. If you're feeling your right hamstring, it's perfect. And then we're going to bend the right knee, just like it was. Bring the arms up and overhead. Pelvis tilts, hips drop. Getting a little bit deeper stretch on the front of the left hip. And then we bring the hands down on either side of the right foot. It's where we got them before. The left foot simply steps forward beside the right foot, and look, your hands are on either side of your feet where they belong for your standing forward bend. You inhale and reach the arms up. And exhale, palms together in front of the heart. It's cool how it all works out. Here we go. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward, hands on either side of the feet. Look up halfway and lengthen, and then back down. So from here, we're going to step back to plank. Those 4 points on your mat should be quite familiar. So if you're in plank position here, please remember modify any of the other vinyasas if you need to. But let's move into a full-on vinyasa, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to literally not lift your feet. Now, if you have toe issues, you're going to ignore me. But here's the deal. As we get ready to lower down, we don't lower down straight from here, and we do not let our elbows flare out ever. We push with our toes so that the body is forward. Bend the elbows, hug them to the torso, lower down and hover. Roll over the top of the feet, keeping knees and thighs off the ground, upward facing dog. Roll over the toes, back into downward facing dog. Position of the feet never change. Tailbone presses up and back. So from here, we're going to take the right foot forward up between the feet. Sorry, up between the hands. Be hard to take your right foot forward between your feet, wouldn't it? Sorry, your right foot forward up between your hands. It's that same lunge position we've been in, right? And it's those same proportions of plank. This is where your warrior two would live.
Left heel spins flat and you come straight up. If you get your lower leg vertical and press it out, then your right thigh will be somewhere close to horizontal. Take a breath. Reverse your warrior. Left hand on left thigh, right arm up and over. Bring yourself back up into your warrior two. Take your right hand down inside that right foot. Left arm up towards the ceiling. If you're feeling like you want to, you can drop that left arm behind you like you're reaching for the right side of the waist. And reach your right arm underneath and arm bind. You don't have to, that's optional. Take another breath here. Come all the way back out, warrior two. Straighten the right leg. Kick those hips out to the left and lengthen your spine to the right. Lots of length on the right side of the spine. Find your way into your triangle pose. Torso is aligned over that right thigh. So we try not to lean forward. And then we just maintain length on the right side of the spine. So we've kept our feet in those same distances, the front of the mat and the back of the mat. So if we bring our left hand down, just let that right hand move to the outside of the right foot. Swivel onto the left toes. You should be able to step your right leg back to meet your left leg and be in the perfect position for plank. Now, everything is optional, of course, and you can modify. But just to make sure that you're doing Chaturanga Dandasana, which means forelimbs stacked correctly, let's do a couple of Chaturanga push-ups. You push forward with your feet. You exhale, you lower down and hover. Your forearms are vertical. You inhale, you press back into plank. You exhale, you lower down. If you don't feel your elbows on your rib cage, your shoulders are at risk. Inhale, back into plank. This time we'll exhale and lower down. Maybe you can roll, or maybe you need to flip to the tops of the feet, but you come into upward facing dog. Slight bend in the elbows as you pull forward. Up dog, the knees and thighs are off the floor. And then on your exhale, downward facing dog, either rolling over the toes or just flipping the feet again. Press the tailbone up and back. Don't step your feet forward once you hit down dog. The feet are in the right spot. Lengthen your spine. And then take a big step forward up between the hands with your left foot. That's how you know you're in the right spot. So if the foot is between the hands, you can spin your right heel flat and come up into your warrior two on the left. And you should be close to vertical shin, almost to horizontal thigh. And then let's reverse our warrior. Right hand on the right thigh, left arm up and over. Come back up. Take the left hand down inside the left foot, right hand to the ceiling. If you're feeling it, you could drop that right arm behind the back, reaching for the left side of the waist. Let the left arm reach up and back and arm bind. If you feel it, you don't have to. Come all the way back out, warrior two. Straighten the left leg. Kick the hips to the right. Lengthen your rib cage to the left. Let's find our triangle pose here. And so again, the idea being left side of the spine stays really lengthened, and we try to make sure we're aligning over the left thigh and not leaning forward. Bring your right hand down. Swivel onto your right toes. We're going to do it again, and this time we're going to move with the breath. So as you inhale, your left foot should meet your right foot. You're in the perfect position for plank. As you exhale, push forward
and lower down. Elbows hugging the sides, you hover. You inhale. Chest is lifting, upward facing dog. Slight bend in the elbows. You exhale. Roll over your toes if you can. Downward facing dog, and you don't change where your feet are. So you can see how these 4 points on your mat, not only are they like home for your body parts, but they're also the perfect indication of whether or not you're in the right spot for your poses. So let's play even a little bit deeper. From this downward facing dog, I want you to bend your knees a little bit. Look forward of your hands. Look at the front edge of your mat and go ahead and jump forward. See if you can get your feet between your hands. And if not, it's okay. And then you'll have your feet right where they would be. And then inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Inhale, reach the arms up and stretch. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Hands are on either side of the feet. Keep them there. Look up and lengthen. And then back down. So this time, if you're feeling it, you can jump back to plank, or you can step back. And then as you exhale, lower down, elbows touch your sides. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. From this down dog, come onto your tiptoes. I want you to bring your right knee towards your nose and actually see if you can touch it and hold it. Good. Put your right foot back where you got it. Press your tailbone back and sink the heels. Come back up onto your toes. Bring your left knee up underneath you. See if you can literally touch it to your nose and hold it. Put your left foot back down. Press your hips back and sink the heels. So that action is how you get your foot forward. And we're going to play with that now. So here's what I'd like you to do. We'll just go slow motion. You come onto the tippy toes. You're going to round your back and bring your right knee towards your nose. And then you're just going to step it all the way up between the hands. There you are in that perfectly aligned lunge. Hands and feet are in the right position. Awesome. Step it back. Downward facing dog. Tippy toes. Left knee comes towards the nose. And then you just go ahead and finish putting it forward between the hands. There you are, perfect lunge position. Step it back, downward facing dog. And then from your down dog, just shift forward into plank. You should be in the perfect position. Go ahead and lower down. Hover, hover, look at your forearms, make sure they're vertical. Upward facing dog, slight bend in the elbows. Downward facing dog. Stretch. One more time, bending the knees a little bit, looking forward so you're actually staring in front of your hands, like at the front of the mat. And you jump forward, feet between the hands, standing forward bend. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Awesome. So we're going to balance a little bit just to give your body a break. And what I'd like you to do, first of all, is just circle the index finger and thumb of each hand. So it kind of looks like an OK sign. This is actually Gyan Mudra or Yogi Mudra. So we do this for knowledge. Let your palms face up. Shift your weight to your left foot. Pick your right knee up
flex the foot. Start to move that right knee around. Really cool little yogi dance going on here. So you kind of almost look like a dancing Shiva if you had a bunch more arms. Take a couple more breaths. And then put your right foot down beside your left foot. Bring your palms together. And we'll go for the other side. So just a little bit of moving balance. On this one, I'd like you to circle the middle finger and the thumb, palms face up. Shift your weight to your right foot, pick your left knee up, flex the ankle, and do your little yogi dance move. So the idea is to move around, to have that left leg and hip flowing and moving. Couple more breaths. And then left foot comes back down, palms come together. Nice job. Here we go. Inhaling, reaching the arms up. Exhaling, folding forward, coming home to our 4 points on the mat. If your hands are beside your feet, your fingertips and toes in one big beautiful line, you're in the right spot. You're gonna look up and lengthen, and then back down. We're gonna step back with the left leg. So you have to kind of step that left foot back to home, right? Right shin is vertical, you're in a perfect lunge. Let's go ahead and spin the left heel flat, come up into a warrior two. Straighten your right leg. All I want you to do here is rotate your right foot in. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Now your feet are the correct distance apart for this straight leg, wide leg, forward fold. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Hinge at your hips. Relax your neck and fold forward, reaching the arms up and overhead. On your next inhale, you're going to come up. As you exhale, release the hands, rotate your right toes back out, bend the knee, you're back exactly where you belong. Taking hands on either side of the right foot, your right foot can step back beside the left foot, and it's magic. You're in the perfect position for plank, which means you can shift forward and come into Chaturanga Dandasana, forearms vertical, rolling to the top of the feet for upward facing dog, rolling back to the pads of the toes for downward facing dog. Feet and hands never need to change positions because they're always in the right spot. Now you get to move that left leg forward, so you can use that little bit of core work. You're going to take your left foot up between the hands. That's the right spot for that lunge. That's that home spot. All you got to do is spin the right heel inward and come up. There's your warrior two. Just take a breath here. Straighten your left leg. All you're going to do is keep your left heel where it's at, rotate the left toes in. This time, we'll keep our arms out to the side, hinge forward at the hips. See if you can reach down and grab the big toes with the first two fingers and thumb of each hand. And pull your head down towards the floor. From here, we come all the way back up, arms out to the side. All we have to do is just move the left toes back out to the left and bend the knee. There's our warrior two, perfect position. Hands on either side of the left foot. We step the left foot back to meet the right foot. We're in the perfect spot for plank. We exhale, lower down, elbows hugging sides. We inhale, rolling over the toes.
Upward facing dog. We exhale, rolling over the toes. Downward facing dog. Spread your fingers, plant your hands, press the tailbone up and back. Let the heels sink down. Don't step forward. This is your perfect down dog. And then on this last one, it's up to you. If you want to jump, awesome. If you'd rather walk, that's fine. We are just going to either walk or jump. Feet between the hands, standing forward bend. And then we're just going to have a seat and extend the legs for Dandasana. So when you get onto your sit bones, let your hands be right beside your backside. Push into the mat and find that same really straight aligned spine. So again, we're coming into, if a line came from the ceiling, it would go through the ears, the shoulders, and the center of the hips. Our legs are very engaged here. And I want you to keep your chest lifted like this and just start walking your hands on the floor on either side of your legs. Keep your chest and your face lifted and gazing forward to see how far the arms will go. And when you get them to wherever you're going, hands are not on the legs. What I'd like you to do is keep your chest lifted and pulling forward, but totally relax the arms. Let the shoulders come back down the back so that your forward bend has nothing to do with grabbing or grasping. It's a perfect place to practice the yogic principle of aparigraha, not being greedy or grasping with our pose here. And then if you are so inclined, lift the chest slightly, tuck your chin into your throat and start to roll down. This is going to feel very different. This will stretch the upper back, maybe the back of the neck. Shoulders and arms stay relaxed though. Good. Roll back up. And let's bring the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. This time I'm going to let you grab. Make sure you're on your sit bones. Lengthen out. You can either grab your right calf, your right foot, maybe grab the hands on the outside or bottom part of your right foot. Keep the ankle flexed. Try and keep your shoulders relaxed. Take a couple of breaths here. And then go ahead and come on up from that. We're going to pick the left leg up, bring it all the way across the right thigh with the left foot flat. You can keep your right leg straight, or if you want, shift your weight to your right glute and bend your right knee so that your right foot is beside your left glute. Just coming into a nice twist, lifting up through the chest. You want that straight spine. Left hand is behind you, and you're either hugging the left knee with your right arm, or you can bring that right elbow outside, left near thigh. Look over the left shoulder, keep the spine straight, shoulders relaxed. As you unwind, bring the sole of your left foot and right foot together. Let's put hands right beside the back side again for that straight spine. Knees press out to the side, and then they reach down for the ground. Just take a couple of breaths. Extend your left leg, and you can just let that right foot snug in to the inner left thigh. Lift up through your chest, either grabbing left calf or foot or beyond the foot, whatever works for you. Try and keep shoulders relaxed. Just get a nice forward bend over your left leg. Keep that left foot active. Good. Come on up from that. We're going to pick the right leg up. Bring that right foot flat across your left thigh. Left leg can stay straight if you like, or you can just shift your weight to your left buttock and bend your left knee so that the foot is beside your right glute. Lift up through the chest, straight spine, right hand behind you, either hugging right leg or bringing left upper arm outside that right thigh. Twist and look over that right shoulder. As you unwind, yet again, bringing soles of the feet together, slide them way out in front of you so you have a very long, narrow diamond shape in front of you. Soles of the feet are still touching, but they're way out there. Reach forward, clasp your ankles, lift your chest, and just kind of start to nestle your rib cage down between the thighs. Depends on your body. You might feel this across the sacrum, the back side of your pelvis. It should be fairly subtle. If you have tight outer hips, you might feel it in the outer hips. We're going to take one more breath here. And then if you would like to, and it feels okay, you can come up slightly. And just like we did in our straight leg forward bend, you can take your chin into your chest and start to bring your head down towards the feet. And that should feel a little different. Come on up from that, extend your legs out, give them a nice wiggle. Good. And then as we prepare to roll onto our backs, my preference for you for your inversion today, because I'm going to give you a way to kind of rock and roll into this. My preference for you today would be a shoulder stand, but if that's not part of your practice or not accessible to you because of neck or shoulder issues, bridge or any other variation is fine. But here's what I'd like you to do. Go ahead and bend your knees. And if you can, reach down and grab first two fingers and thumb, grab the big toes. You'll notice my feet are flexed, my toes are in the air here. You can't lift off with straight legs. This is where we're going to come back to. There's a different variation, but not for today. So we're going to go back and forth 3 or 4 times, kind of pulling ourselves into plow. And then the final time that we're back there, we're going to shift our hands to our mid-back and just step up into a shoulder stand if that works for you. So here's what we do. We hang onto the feet. We rock back, extend the legs overhead, still hanging onto the feet. Bend the knees, come back up to sitting. Rock back, extend the legs up and overhead like plow. Come back up. And then if you're ready, you rock back like you're in plow. Release your hands to your mid-back. Try and get the elbows close together. Make sure you have curve in the back of your neck. And then do your best in shoulder stand. Slowly roll out of that on an exhale. You can hug your knees into your chest or rock side to side. And then we'll just keep our spinal twist really basic today. Just keep both knees bent and together. We're just going to drop them over to the right. Let that left arm open out to the left. Shoulders relax, feet relax, jaw relaxes. Turn your head to the left if you can. And just take a few breaths here. On your next inhale, bring the knees up. As you exhale, drop them over to the left. Right arm opens out to the right, head turns to the right. You're just softening and relaxing here. On your next inhale, come on up. Exhale, hug your knees in. You totally deserve a happy baby now. So reach down if you're so inclined, grabbing the outside edges of the feet and begin to just explore, move, wiggle. See what's going on in the body. See if there's anything you need to release through the hips. And then when you feel like you're ready, we'll bring the feet together with the knees bent, feet flat, knees together as well. And as you exhale, just start to let both knees drop to the right. As you inhale, bring them back up. As you exhale, drop them to the left. As you inhale, bring them back up. And just continue to let the knees drop side to side, nice and slow on the exhales, bringing them back up as you inhale and dropping them the opposite way as you exhale. When you feel like you're even, you're going to allow the soles of the feet to come together with the knees dropping open. Let's just take this opportunity to lengthen our low back. Also a breath-centered movement. On your next inhale, I want you to press your low back into the mat. It'll require that you tilt the pelvis so that your back becomes flat. And then exhale and just release it. You'll feel the lumbar curve return. Inhale, press your low back into the mat, flatten it out. Exhale and release. One more time, inhale, flatten your back, remove the lumbar curve, and then exhale, allow it to return and begin to extend your legs. If you feel like you need to, you can give them a good wiggle. Let the arms be below the shoulders, palms are up, shoulders are relaxed. Spine and neck are long. Eyes are closed, the jaws are relaxed, your forehead is smooth, everything is softening. Take a deep inhale. Big exhale through the mouth. And as we let go, we allow our bodies to soften into the earth. We allow our breath to just do its own thing. And we settle in for this sweetest of yoga poses, Shavasana. So our posture practice today kind of dealt with returning to basics. Let's just keep that theme here in our Shavasana. All we're trying to do is stay present, stay in the moment. And the best way to stay present and stay in the moment is to anchor ourselves through physical sensations and breath. So for the next few minutes,
just try and stay in the moment, right here, right now, by noticing how your body feels and paying attention to your breath. So you should already be anchored in the sensations of the body. Just take a moment to observe if it was easy for you to stay present or if it was more challenging, if the thoughts kept intruding. Just pay attention to that. And then you can start to deepen the breath a little bit. Start to move the fingers and toes a little bit. When you're ready, take that deep inhale, spread fingers and toes. Exhale through the mouth and relax them. Deeper inhale, stretch. And exhale and relax. Bend your knees. You're welcome to hug them in if that feels good to you. When you're ready, roll to your right side. Don't be in any hurry. Just rest on the right side for a moment. And then press yourself up into sitting. So as you come to your seated position, you want to find that really straight spine, particularly as we move into our pranayama, our breathwork practice, because that straight spine not only allows the energy to move from the tailbone up to the crown of the head, but it also affords you a lengthened abdomen, which allows you to breathe easier. Our breath today is going to be, we're going to do 3 of the 4 parts of the breath. So I think you guys are all pretty experienced with your breath work. So the idea is this, it's a ratio breath. It's a 1-1-2 ratio. This is all through the nose. We inhale through the nose, we hold our breath in our lungs, and then we exhale for twice as long as the inhale. Excuse me, there's no external retention today. So for instance, if you inhaled for 4 seconds, you would hold your breath for 4 seconds, and then you would exhale for 8 seconds, and then begin your next breath. If you can go longer than that, by all means do, but stick with that ratio and make sure that there's no struggle involved in the breathing. It should be a very sweet and calm practice. So let's all start at the same time, and then you'll take off on your own. So just take a big inhale through the nose. Exhale completely through the nose. And then your own count, 1-1-2 ratio breathing. Go ahead and finish the breath you're on, and as you do finish it out, just keep the eyes closed and just kind of take a moment and sit with the effects of your breath work, of your relaxation, of your physical practice, of the whole thing. Just sit for a moment. This stillness that you're experiencing right now is really the purpose of the physical poses. They're designed to make us strong enough and supple enough that when we sit in meditation, we're not distracted by our bodies. The breath work allows us to keep the body operating optimally and withdraw our awareness from the outside world so that we can come to this state. Go ahead and bring palms together in front of the heart. So taking a moment in gratitude. Gratitude for the ancient yogis that spent their lives discovering this amazing discipline that we are so fortunate to get to practice. Gratitude for all the people through all the hundreds of thousands of years that have carried the practice forward. And gratitude for this day that we are here on this earth, alive, breathing, and able to do the practice. Take one more huge inhale. Big sigh. Bringing palms together at our foreheads, we're just reminded to stay present, to pay attention, to appreciate what we have. Bringing palms together in front of our mouths, we're encouraged to speak our truth, but in a way that is kind and can be heard. And bringing palms together in front of our hearts, we're reminded to keep our hearts open so that we can always be compassionate and tolerant and understanding and loving, and that we can be that way towards ourselves as well. Thank you so much for joining me. The honor is mine. Namaste.